in the interminable, back and forth slobber knocker of a war between the gods and the titans. The gods have lost the latest battle, and Sakka, king of the gods, flees alone. An army of titans following furiously at his heels. His only escape route leads through an isolated patch of forest. But as he arrives at the edge of this forest, and the first shade of the trees falls upon his face, he notices that something is amiss. A flock of migrating birds has made of this forest their nesting ground, and so, everywhere one looks, the forest floor and all the branches are covered, filled with innocent little hatchling chicks. Pew pew, pew pew, pew pew. Sakka, king of the gods, raises his hand and bids his charioteer stop. A solemn mien descends upon his countenance as he contemplates the difficult decision that lies before him. The forest is so densely packed with baby birds that if he continues to flee through it, not only will he run the risk of upsetting a nest or three, but he'll be bringing an army of titans at his heels, who will surely crush the life out of every last one of the hatchlings. And so, resolute, he orders his charioteer, Matali, to turn back, though it mean facing a horde of titans on his own. And so the titans pursuing him see the defenseless enemy general. They flee headlong to a forest, stop at its outskirts and turn back. And they think to themselves, why would he have done this? And the only conclusion they can come to is that in that forest lie heavenly reinforcements. There is an army of the gods waiting in ambush there, and the only reason the king would turn back in such a situation is if he thought that he could now win the battle with his greater numbers. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the army of frothing, furious asuras turn, and in their own turn, flee. Flee not from an army of heavenly spirits, but from one guy and a flock of baby hatchlings. Pew pew, pew pew, pew pew. So this is a very amusing story from the Kulavaka Sutta of the Saṁyutta Nikāya of the early Buddhist scriptures. And let me just try to explain a few things so you can picture it, right? So the titans here, the asuras, are the rivals of the gods. They're long-lived and very, very powerful, but they're more bestial. So think of like a wild tiger or something, right? It has great dignity, it has great power, but it also has great rage, kind of unbridled rage. And those are what the asuras are like, right? Quasi-demonic, right? So not evil outright, but they have a brutality to them. Whereas the gods, the devas, they're more refined, right? They're more like a human aristocracy. But Sakka, king of the gods, right? That's the Buddhist name for Indra, the paragon, right? The perfect expression of the Aryan people, the horse-taming, chariot-riding warrior society who took over northern India in the centuries before the Buddha. So he's depicted as exceptionally warlike, right? He takes soma, the sort of stimulant drink before battle, almost like a berserker figure, right? He's a terrible, brutal war leader. This is the same guy as Zeus. This is the same guy as Jupiter. This is basically Thor, right? Or Marduk from Babylonian myth. This is the chieftain who wields the lightning and thunder as his weapon. And so the Buddhists take these figures, these dreadful, terrifying, destructive asuras, these titans, and this imposing, hyper-masculine war chieftain, god king. And what do they do with him? They turn the god king into a figure so delicate and compassionate that he can't bear to trample over these little baby chicks. And they have the dreadful armies of the asuras defeated, essentially, by a bunch of defenseless little birds. And so I like the story very much because it really exemplifies this early Buddhist, this subversive quality, right? This satirical quality. The Buddha and his followers took the culture ideas of their day and so often turned them on their head with a great deal of humor. But that's just the king of the gods. Symbolically, that's just upturning the, warrior noble leadership of a worldly society. Just wait till we get to the stories in which they tweak the nose of the creator gods, of the priestly caste. So I haven't made a video in a while because I was busy writing a book entitled Buddhism and Depression, which should hopefully be out later this year in 2023. So apologies for the delay. And I thought we'd get started with just a cute little, sweet little story from the Pali Canon. Tune in next time for more Buddhist stories, and I think before we go any further, I think we might turn to Judaism next. I feel like I haven't properly paid my dues to my Jewish roots. So yeah, see you next time. In the meantime, please be well.